and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Hi, this is Darren Schmidt from the Dead Man's Digest, and you're listening to the Coaster Challenge podcast.
Hi, this is E-Type from Theme Park HQ, and you're listening to the Coaster Challenge podcast.
Hi, I'm Billy McCluskey with Thrills United, and this is the Coaster Challenge podcast.
Hi, I'm Steph from Emotional Roller Coasters, and you're listening to the Coaster Challenge podcast.
Hey kids, this is Ian from Theme Park Stop. You're listening to the Coaster Challenge podcast. Enjoy. Be nice today. This is awesome.
Do you accept the Coaster Challenge? Yes, I accept the Coaster Challenge. Do you accept the Coaster Challenge? Coaster Challenge podcast is here. It's time to face your fears. Get that theme park therapy and lend us both your Coaster Challenge podcast is here. Your fear can disappear. We know that theme park therapy can dry up all your tears. Do you accept the Coaster Challenge? Yes, I accept the Coaster Challenge. Do you accept the Coaster Challenge? We accept because you know we're not average.
You're listening to the Coaster Challenge podcast. A journey where people become fearful to fearless, all from riding roller coasters. So please secure your hats and glasses and keep your hands and arms inside the podcast. It's time to accept the Coaster Challenge with your host, Kim Dykes.
Good evening. This is Kim with the Coaster Challenge podcast, and today I'm happy to sit down and talk with my guest. I'm very excited to hear the story of Airtime Myke, a coaster enthusiast from the YouTube channel Toro Ryan. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me, and welcome to the podcast, Myke.
Kim, thank you so much for having me here. I'm very, very excited to be a part of this podcast. This growing podcast has been amazing, and just honored to be here today.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me, and let's get started. While I saw you at Hollywood Nights this past year, I didn't get to talk with you much because we were so busy enjoying the event. With that being said, I'd like to start with you telling us a few things about yourself to help our listeners and me learn more about you.
All right, yeah, what's good? What you want to know about me?
Anything and everything you'd like us to know. Share away.
Okay, my name is Airtime Myke, and that's Mike with a Y. That's M-Y-K-E. By the way, you gotta be unique. And as a coaster enthusiast, my home park is Kings Dominion. I've been going there for over 3 decades now. As far as being a coaster enthusiast, what got me to be a coaster enthusiast is it's kind of different than most. I didn't come from a family of enthusiasts. My mom, my dad, my sister, they actually don't like amusement parks. They actually don't like them at all. But what made me an enthusiast was we took a trip to Busch Gardens when I was a young kid. And this was still when Drachenfire at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg was still open. And my family went to go to the Fest House to go have lunch and eat and go do a tour of the parks because they didn't like to ride things. And they told me to go to Drachenfire and just sit and wait for them. And they didn't come back for like almost 2 hours. So I sat on Drachenfire at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg and marathon for 2 hours. And even to this day, it's still my favorite aero looper. But that was probably the day that really got me into roller coasters because it was pretty cool. I got so many Zen rides. And by the way, I'm very, very underrated roller coaster, by the way. It is the best aero looper that's ever been done. It was just ahead of its time. So that's how I kind of got to be an enthusiast. As far as like what this community does and what my impact is to it. I just like to have fun and be positive. I call going to parks my escape from reality. Everyone has a job or, has some kind of profession. If you're lucky where your job is your profession, is coasters. I'm jealous of people like Taylor. I consider them like, what an awesome job, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But for me, it's a great escape from reality where I can, I call roller coasters controlled chaos. And so I like to be in a situation where I can just go out and have fun and something that scares people or people are unsure about and controlled and just enjoy myself to the fullest. And I don't like to make choices and decisions. I just want to just be free in the moment and not have to worry about the complexities of rent or a car payment or the job or the stress of like coming home or bills. It's just, I'm here at the park. I walk in, I see the people, smiling with their families, the trees, the smell, the sound of the roller coasters, the brake runs. Like I pay attention to all that kind of stuff, and I just kind of get lost in the harmony of just happiness. And so it's very fulfilling to me to kind of just get that escape. And then it's also why it's so hard for me to leave, where I know I have to go back to a situation where it's not the parks. And then, but the cool thing is, I get the anxiety and anxiousness to get back to the parks. That's who I am. I mean, I'm free spirited. I like to have fun. I like thrill rides. I don't like free spins.
I don't either. No.
No,
one and done.
Not a big free spin taker. And I like my favorite manufacturer is Intamin. I like how innovative they are. They take risks, they take chances, and they just build the absolutely best equipment as far as machines, from like the different, like from inverse to launches to like hypers and gigas. They just do it all, and they do it in a way where their top rides and their top coasters are not gimmicky. They're not similar. They're not the same. It's and it's not to knock the B&M, because B&M makes really good roller coasters, but like they have a certain formula that B&M follows for like most of their coaster designs. And Intamin's like, nah, well, you want a what? You want a 420-foot roller coaster that goes 100 miles an hour? Sure, we can do that. Like 300 feet, why not?
No problem.
What, hack race? You want to run 10 to 14 trains and do it themed to a movie, a book, and and have magical? Like, sure, we'll figure that out. So big Intamin fan. I like coasters that push the limits. I'm all about getting. I like something that is chaotic, out of control. Different from most, speed, intensity, and of course I love Airtime because that's my name. Specifically, check the Airtime. And if I get a coaster that has speed, intensity, aggression, and Airtime in one, Voyage, Quasi, these are things. I-305, like these are things that I just love. Skyrush, these are things that, like, if you can just push to the limits. And when I get to that brake run, I'm just like I call it do I get a wow reaction when I ride coasters? Like that's what kind of cheeses me up and gets me going. Like when I get to the brake run, I'm looking around like, oh my god, that was amazing. Or am I just kind of like, that's cool? But if I'm like, oh my god, it's amazing, like I'm nervous and like it's the blood pressure's going like that and that giddiness to get back on, that motivates me. I love that.
The big thing that gets my attention, there's only two. And I mean, there are some great coasters out there, but there's only two coasters. Almost every single time I ride, at the end of the ride, I'm out of breath. Those are my top two. I'm out of breath at the end of the ride. It was one heck of a ride. That's Iron Gwazi. In the back, especially, and Trembless Voyage. I'm always out of breath at the end of the ride.
Kim, you tell no lies. I was just, recently, I was just at Busch Gardens this past weekend in Tampa this past weekend, and let me tell you, like we got there because it's hot and it's Hollow Screams going on down here, and let me tell you, these 11:30 midnight Gwazi rides when the train's been running for 13 hours of the day, getting the backseat row in the night with the purple glow, and it's just like, wow. I mean, like it was. I completely agree with you. Like, it was almost like painful airtime at some moments, and I was happy about it. I was
yes.
I was so happy about it. Like coming out of that stall, which is like one of the weakest stalls, but it's still good. But that moment you come out the stall, and then if anyone has ridden Gwazi, knows this moment. But like we come out the stall, and then it banks left, but then it cuts right, and as you go to like what the little double down thing, and but that moment where it rotates left to right, it just throws you out of the seat. And that was a new experience for me at this time on Gwazi. I was just like, and it just actually made it even like stronger for me when I rode it. It's like, I'm Gwazi's going up my list because like it's just. And I'm sorry for your vintage people, but it just does everything that I wish still vintage would do. Is from a pacing standpoint.
Yes.
I'm like, it is just paced unbelievable. And
thank you.
And this is year one. So like we'll see how much better he gets by like year two and year three.
that and Voyage, I refer to those as the only two that have given me a true out of body experience. And I love Sylventions. It's my number 3, but it doesn't.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it doesn't give. It's a whole other dimension.
That's right.
Away from this Voyage and Iron Quasi for me.
And Vintage is good. So I don't want people to think that I'm hating on Vintage. Like Vintage is good. It's in my like top 10 to 15. So like I've written over 450 coasters. So like it's really good if it's that high. And I can't talk about Voyage or we would have a podcast. And so I'd go on for hours about how amazing Voyage is. I think it's the most perfect coaster that exists on planet Earth. It has everything on it, and that Trimless Night Ride is one of a kind. You can't get that. You cannot get that experience on any other coaster on planet Earth, and that's just what it is. And if I keep talking about it, we'll be here for 4 hours. So I'm just going to stop right there. That the GOAT, as I refer to as the GOAT now, GOAT Voyage. That's how I call it now. The greatest of all time is that I'll never miss Hollywood Nights. You will never not see me at Hollywood Nights
as long as my body will allow me to do what I do and feel like I do when I do it. I will be at Hollywood Nights.
You'll never not see it. So like so Leah, if you're watching this and anybody else that's in charge of the voting and the hand picking, I'm submitting mine right now early. And if you don't invite me, I'm jumping the fence. I'm going to beg. I don't care if I got to crawl and stare at the gate. You're going to let me in. I'm getting into Hollywood Nights.
Let our people in or beg you. And just before we begin the interview officially with the questions, a little bird did tell me that they are retracking the second and third hills.
Oh, yeah. I know all about that, actually. I wasn't quite sure if we can talk to them now, but I know exactly what they're doing. It's gonna. Sorry,
I don't know if it could get any better than it was this year, really but we're about to find out.
Yeah, those were the weak points of the ride. Is the beginning, is the first like couple hills, and it's still fun. That's the weak part. Oh my god, that ride is incredible.
Get ready for it to go up another level. All right, so the first part of the interview is going to be what we on the podcast refer to as kind of the roller coaster time capsule.
Okay.
We're going to be going back in time, talking about the beginning. And then the last part of the interview is going to be kind of the fast forward, more the here and now and questions that pertain to you specifically in the year 2022. Okay. So with our first question, I'd like you to tell me what is your first coaster that you remember riding?
So actually, my first coaster I ever rode was actually the Grizzly at Kings Dominion, and I actually rode this pre-lap bars. I actually got to ride it when it had buzz bars on it as a little kid. That was my first experience with a roller coaster, and probably the last time I rode a coaster with one of my parents. That was it, and it still holds a nice warm place in my heart today, even though it didn't run as good as it can today. I have to admit it's got a little bit rough, a little bit fuzzy, but they're working on it in the off season, and so it's getting a nice little retrack and some more work done, and so it's going to come back and it's going to be better than ever, and we're going to be very thankful for it.
I hope so, because I rode it once last year, and I wouldn't ride it again. It's just about
people think I have home park bias, which I really don't actually. I call it how I see it, but we'll probably touch on a little later on. But in one of at the meetup, man, there are newbies that are roller coaster enthusiasts, so we always want to get the credit. If you guys don't have accredited, that means riding a coaster full circuit one time. Yeah. And man, we got the Grizzly, and I was like, see, there's yellow train and orange train. And yellow train ran smoother than orange train, and you got to ride at the second seat of the car in order to get a really good ride, as best as you can ride on it. But it ran terrible this season, and that's coming off a tracking, a partial tracking, I guess, in 19. But I'm hoping they put the love and the attention that they did is in the racer, or I would call it it's really Rebel Yell. Let's just call it. It's really Rebel Yell, and politics in these names. It's Rebel Yell. So if they can give it the same kind of treatment they gave Rebel Yell, Grizzly's actually the layout's fantastic. It's got some awesome airtime. It did run rough as far as tracking and ridership this year. So as you mentioned, I hope you give it another shot. On your next visit when you come to Kings to Me, and hopefully whenever you do, it's gotten that, some of those jerks worked out, and it provides a much better ride experience than it was given out this year. This was the worst I think I've ever ridden Grizzly probably in my life, to be completely honest with you.
Well, that'll be a trip that I definitely continue to make in the future. We love going down to that whole area. This year we did Carowinds, Kings Dominion, Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and I love Fury, Intimidator 305, Twisted Timbers, Pantheon at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg was incredible. And they're building the new coaster down there now as well. So
our coaster, and another one in 24, allegedly. So we'll see, man. Like they're really building a lot of things pretty quickly and pretty fast down there.
And I have a bad habit of saying I'm not going to return somewhere for a while, and then I wind up
going back down
there anyway. So I'm sure I will return, and I will look forward to experiencing the rebirth of Grizzly.
I like that.
So dramatic. Okay. So thinking back to those early coaster riding days, what was the one coaster that you would say scared you the most?
You know what? This is a story. I honestly don't think I've actually told this before to anyone. But Grizzly was the crazy thing is my first ride on Grizzly. Like I said, I got to ride it with just buzz bars, and rode it with my dad. And so as a little kid. There's a moment, if you've ridden Grizzly, there's an airtime moment on the second on the turnaround that goes into the tunnel, and it really kind of throws you there. Well, on this, so my first ride on Grizzly, when it bumped up, I came out of my seat so high that my dad had to grab me and push me down into the seat because he thought I was gonna fall out.
Oh wow!
And so it terrified me for the longest time. So the irony is that while I love Grizzly, it came to me. I rode as a little kid. I didn't ride it again until I was 17. So 17. I didn't ride Grizzly again until after prom. We went to Kings Dominion after prom. It was in high school, my senior year, and the next day. And then that was the first time I rode Grizzly since my first time ever riding it, because I was always if you've never been to Kings Dominion, Grizzly's kind of it's really hidden. You can't see any of the track at all. From anywhere on the coaster, except for the station, you can see the lift hill. That's it. You can't really see any in the ride at all. So when you go back there, and this is gift store they have in front of the ride now, but you can actually just walk and go see it. But trees and I just every time I see it, just turn the corner coming out of the station, I was I'm having relapse memories of falling out. I'm I'm not getting back on it. But so it took me until I was 17 after prom to get back on it. And this is after I'm at this point I'm still love roller coasters, and we got Volcano, and so I'm okay. Well, I've been on Volcano, I've been on Hypersonic, I've been on these things. I can ride this thing now. So I got on it, then that actually kind of ignited my love for wooden coasters when I actually got back on it again.
Oh.
And that kind of started my whole wooden coaster love.
That wild airtime moment reminds me of the ride I had. One of the rides I had this year on Phoenix. I rode Phoenix for the first time. And I was honestly overall a bit underwhelmed by the coaster itself.
Mm-hmm.
But that wild airtime, literally in the front, it threw me up so far. I went over the divider. I was almost landed in my son's lap. And I had to, I grabbed on the front of the train because I thought I was flip over the front end of it.
Yeah,
I've never experienced that.
Isn't that crazy? How Phoenix? That's crazy. Isn't that crazy how Phoenix is? So I actually agree with you, and this is also a shout out to B May, the antagonist, who's the certified Phoenix lover, as he likes to throw in the golden tickets or always keep making him a one every year, which I disagree with. You know what? I'm going to change that narrative next year because the Void is the best wooden coaster in the world. But that the ending of Phoenix is really good, right? Like so, like like how you like bounce off those airtime hills and that having that freedom of like no restraint, no lap bar, no seatbelt, no nothing. It can really throw you in the air. And I know people love that coaster for those last bunny hills hitting into the brake run and just getting like as you got experience there thrown into your son's lap. And it's so like people take that moment and they're like, oh, that's the greatest wooden coaster in the world. Where I'm in agreement with you. Good roller coaster. I personally don't even think it's the best wooden coaster in the park.
No, Twister.
Twister's the best one in the park in my opinion. And and it's a good ride, you know. It's only a good ride, but I'm like, okay, well, it doesn't do anything really special. There's no terrain. It's not tall, not fast, not out of control. But it's got this buzz bar, you know, gimmick that really makes the experience. I challenge anybody out there, if Phoenix had a lap bar, would you still think highly of it? Would you still think highly of it? Get back at me. Let me know. Still get back. I want to know. I have questions.
Please share the responses. So thinking back to that first ride on Grizzly, when it scared you, how were you feeling when you approached the station?
Oh, yeah. So here's the thing. So between me being a kid and me being 17, I didn't approach the station. So it was a walk by. I made an excuse. So like, now, while I didn't have like family members that encouraged parks, I still went to the parks as much as I could. With other people's families. Thank you for those moms and dads and uncles that took Airtime Myke with you. That they want to tag along and go to Kings Dominion and Busch Gardens as a kid growing up. Appreciate it. And so like they go to ride it. Like so like, you know, I go with my friends and I just like check it out. You know, I just be like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I say something like, it doesn't look like it's fun. I don't know. I don't like that one. That one's not fun. You guys go ahead. You know, like I'm just gonna stand right back here. So that's all I would do. You know, I would just look at it and just like, you know, made me a little nervous. And I'm just like the whole time, just like, yeah, just sitting. There's a bench that's currently out there in Vernon Grizzly right by the go-karts. And so let's say for about 10 years, man, I spent a lot of time in that bench. You know, like me and that bench got along very well. That it's probably like if it had wheels and trains and a track and a restraint, it'd probably be a credit for me because I sat there a lot of times in my bench to my own home park, not riding Grizzly. And it's crazy I feel that way because I have such an appreciation for what it is now. But yeah, it used to get me nervous. I'm not gonna lie, it used to get me a little nervous, and I'm hard to get nervous. Well, it used to get me nervous.
You know, it's strange because I used to be the same way. I mean, I think back to my first rides. Oh my goodness, my first ride on it, and a looping coaster, Vortex. First ride on Topfield Dragster. First ride on Diamondback. Then Fury 325. You know, Banshee with all these were all like major fears that I had to face. And the strange thing now is, you know, my son and I, perfect example. I mean, we rode Falcon's Fury for the first time back over spring break in April. And we're just up there, you know, over 300 feet in the air. And all these people are just like, ah! And we're just literally looking at each other, not even holding on, just hanging. And he looked at me and he says, doesn't it feel like we should be scared? I said, it seems like it should, but I'm not. Are you? He's like, no. It's so surreal. You know, we rode King to Caw for the first time just back in July when we went to Six Flags Great Adventure. And I remember, you know, the first ride on Dragster, I was literally second guessing my life choice, you know, in that moment, like, what am I doing? And on King to Caw, it was just like a walk in the park. It launched, hands straight up, you know, the Ferris is gone.
It's probably that bamboo. You know, like that Grand Fish got to trim that bamboo. Yeah, it gives you like tunnel vision, like when you're on like King of the Castle, like you can't really feel like the kind of like the full skyline of Essex, because that ride is just full of all this high green bamboo. Then you got green track, so it's just green everywhere. You know, so like you're just like, oh, it's just a long piece of bamboo that we're on right now. So it's not even like intimidating to you. So great adventure if you hear that. Just cut the bamboo off, so that when Kim gets back on car, she can actually fully impress like how tall and how fast this thing is. That
it did. It went so fast. Even with my glasses on, I was cracking up laughing. The wind was blowing my eyelids shut. That's not an easy thing to accomplish right there.
I love those nervous feelings though. Like with my home park being Kings to me, and I see it all the time on Intimidator 305. But when people walk into that plaza and they just look up and they just see this, because I-305 is probably the most intimidating looking roller coaster at all the gigas, because it's literally by itself. So you're just there, and it's just like trees and skyline. OK Coasters has got a great video in his Instagram video, like showing like the depth and skylines of you got two supports holding up this structure at 305 feet up in the air. But I love seeing people that tap out. They just tap, like they get on, like they get in line. It's like, I don't know about this. And then like they see it drop, then they see it speed across right by them with those quick transition turns. And they're like, yeah, I'm out. Like some of them are like, I'm out. And then you got the other side where it's like, oh, I can't wait to get on it. And false rumor, by the way, people, the GP actually love I-305. There are a few that, people that have natural fear won't ride it, but most people just love this thing, and they rewrite it all the time. It's just a capacity monster. That's what it is. But the false rumors of that, like I-305 doesn't get long lines or just doesn't get lines. That's kind of false. That ride does get lines, especially after 6 o'clock when the water park closes, and on weekends. And we experienced that 2-hour wait during Haunt last year. That was absolutely worth every second of it, because the night ride night period, as I like to call it, night the ride. That great ride on I-305 was amazing. But I
finally got a night ride on it.
Oh,
when we went this summer,
wasn't it great?
2 night rides. It was incredible. And that was I did. I purposefully show up at parks. I'm a teacher, so I'm off during the summer. I show up when it's hot on weekdays during the summer. 100 degrees plus is even better, because nobody's there. As far as the coasters go, they're dead. I got 32 rides on Intimidator 305 that day. And
it felt great, didn't it? All 32 of them. You're like, oh, see, that's and you see that right there is why I love Kings Dominion. And let's say, like, because it's one of the very few parks, or like especially a major big park, where you can just ride as much as you want. And as an enthusiast, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Like how, like, just having the ability to say, okay, I get to ride in one of the best coasters in the world, like a lot, like frequently.
I'm one of those people. I'll hear people complain about heat. I'm like, I'll sit and look at the forecast. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be 105 degrees. This looks perfect.
Oh yeah. I'll have a seat next to me next time when you come down there, so that way you can enjoy that. So the people that can't handle the heat, they can't pass out, and they can't really handle it, it's okay. Like you guys can go in the AC and go right flight of fear. It's nice and dark in there, chilled AC, good confined, and it's indoors. Just catch me at the Giga over here. Intimate.
I did that. I had 14 rides on Twisted Timbers that day as well.
Yeah, how them legs feel? Yeah, how those thighs fly 14 on Timbers.
Okay. All right. So going back to that first ride on Grizzly, how did you feel when you got off the coaster?
I don't think I said anything. So I do. So it's crazy because, like, while that coaster scared me, I still rode Rebel Yell. Still rode Rebel Yell that day also. And it's so like it didn't the ride itself didn't take me away from enjoying the day. But I tell you what it did do, like when I was coming back in the station, and like I said, there's no seat belts, or it's just buzz bars, and like I kind of sat there for a minute and just kind of thought about what just happened. Like I was just like, did he really just save my life? Or is it like, or was that just because, when you're, a kid, you're not thinking, oh, I just got some serious airtime. You're thinking, was I just about to die on a roller coaster? So let's get sat there for a minute. And I'm a different individual. Like, I'm not someone that like overreacts or like pressure situations or or high tension situations. I'm one of those guys, like, if a car is coming at me at like full speed and I'm in the passenger seat, I'm one of the guys that's like calmly, like, that talks to like my girls. I'm like, hey babe, just put your foot on the gas so that we can move forward so we don't get hit by this car that's approaching us. Like that's who I am. I'm so stoic in that way. And it's funny, like, she always talks about like how stoic I'm. Like nothing gets to him. Like he's just so calm and cool and everything, except for that moment on Grizzly. I was just kind of like, huh. I was like, huh. And then maybe that kind of contributed to like, my 10-year gap as far as getting back on it. But I just got like, yep, let's get off. And on to the next one. We're just gonna walk it off. I'm one of those. I was one of those kids. Like, yeah, nothing's really bothering me. But I keep everything inside. Yeah, I kept that inside for a decade. So I was just like, okay, what's the next ride? Let's just keep it moving. Let's keep moving.
Would you say that it impacted your life after riding that coaster?
I would say not really. Well, I don't know. I guess there's a few ways to answer that, right? So, I mean, I would say, like, as far as like outside the parks, not at the time, but I can say that when I came back to conquer that fear, oh yeah. So maybe it was, kind of like a starting point to bridge myself as far as to like conquer things at a teenage age where I kind of ran from it. So I can say in a way, I would say it probably did.
Okay. I know just a minute ago you were talking about, being this calm, chill guy for the most part. And then you were like literally in fear of your life. That took me back to my last road trip over Labor Day weekend. I went up in Illinois, and I was on my way that Thursday. I went to see Scorpions up in Rosemont before a weekend of coasters. Okay. And I was supposed to originally be routed around Chicago. I had to drive straight through Chicago, and I literally thought I was going to die. I've never been that nervous in my entire life. It hit me like a thief in the night. Turn the radio off. I mean, this was like 2 hours of gridlock. And I had to turn the radio off so the kids to turn those devices all the way down. Do not say a word. I had to be super tuned in to all the sounds around me. People driving, literally, 100 miles an hour, zipping in front of me, zipping behind me, like crazy. And my son looked at me because he's actually studying the driver's manual right now. And he's like, Mom, this is making me wonder if I want to drive. I said, this is making me wonder if I should be driving. Just
oh my God.
Keep going.
Come on, Chicago drivers, man. Y'all making Kim nervous up there.
I was like, please, just don't let me get off in the wrong lane. If I want to go downtown, I'm not going to be in a concert. I'm not going to ride any coasters. I'm going to be stuck here forever. I'm
just trying to get to the park.
Just get me where I'm going.
Just get me there.
That was a time to
the high attended situation right there.
Become one with the Lord and yell at people for about 2 hours. That was probably the biggest fear I faced in a couple of years anyway. It was a big one. But we survived. I lived to see another day. So it's all good. But we were discussing that too. It's just just another fear to face, because if you don't get in the car and go places,
can't get anywhere.
You can't get anywhere. You can't do anything. So that's my motivation. Will I do it again? Yes. Will I enjoy it? No, but I'll do it anyway. So thinking back with all the coasters you've ridden, what would you say has been your craziest moment on a coaster or in an amusement park in general?
I would say this, like the craziest moment I ever had in a roller coaster, and I know people are going to probably think this is, you know, as airtime throws a sacrilegious, right? But like my first time riding Trimless Night Voyage was probably the craziest experience I ever had, and I'll tell you why. So the Coaster Idiots, they did a good job of that was my first time in the Hollywood Holiday World. Was it was 2017, 2018. As attending my first Hollywood Nights and first up to the park. So they let me ride Raven first, and I loved it. And okay, great. Raven's good. I'm really loving it. Then I rode Legend, and I was like even better than Raven in my opinion. I was like, oh man, it's longer, it's faster, it's kind of crazy. And anybody who knows me knows I love wooden coasters. I prefer them over steel coasters. And so we get the Voyage, right? And I always give everybody the same formula when you visit Holiday World for the first time. Always ride those two first before you get on Voyage, so you can appreciate what the magnificent Voyage. So I get a daytime ride on Voyage, and on a break run, I'm like blown away. I'm like completely blown away. I'm sitting here talking to Pete. The coasters, I'm like, that might be better than El Toro. And at the time, Toro was my number one. So this is daytime Voyage. And I think by the time we had got there, this is back when Hollywood Nights was like starting at like 5:30, so you couldn't even get that many daytime rides. So I got one daytime ride on Voyage, and then let me do the whole thing, the water park ERT, and then we come back and it's nighttime. And so here I am thinking already at this point, I'm like, this is probably like at the time my favorite wooden coaster. It's already in my top 2 or top 3 like immediately. And they're like, it can't get better. Well, this was the year that Holiday World retracked the entire Voyage from the mid-course break run all the way to the end. So they had just completely retracked the entire thing. And I guess it's the first time retracking it since like 2012, I believe. So no one had ridden it this way. And so we get this nighttime ride on Voyage, and immediately I'm already it already feels different. It's pitch black. I've got Peter next to me. I've got I've got Logan from the Coaster Kids sitting in front of me. Yep. Taylor from Coaster Studios is sitting in the train, also sitting in front of me. We got like all these other enthusiasts on the train as well. And so here I am going up this lift hill, and we dropped into nothing, right? like just dropped into nothing. And then I'm like, you can't see anything. This is my first time riding this. You can't see anything. It's like pitch black. And then so like I didn't even know, because I've only ridden it one time and I'd never seen a POV of Voyage before. So in the nighttime, I didn't know where the mid course was. So when we got there, I thought the ride was like over because you can't see anything. No. So I thought the ride was over. So they got this one little light that's on the mid course break run, right? As you're going down, and we're in the back row. But when we come off the triple down, and on that moment of triple down, and like it felt like a drop tower on the third time you come down, and then this coaster just shoots out like a bullet, like from the bottom of that last drop of the triple down to the break run. This coaster's gaining speed, so that's it's going downhill, and I'm seeing there are sparks flying on the track because the upstock wheels are putting so much friction on the track. You can see the sparks coming off like the upstock wheels, and like it smells like it's burning.
Oh my goodness!
So at this point, I'm like in my mind, I'm like, we're gonna derail, right? Like I'm like
it's over.
It's like this coaster is moving so fast, like unapologetically they shouldn't go this fast. I'm like, this coaster's going too fast. I can't see anything. It's going so fast, and it's just like the elements are coming so fast. When we got to the break run, I was in this deep sweat. I'm looking at Pete. I'm looking at Logan. I'm looking at Taylor, and these guys have this like look in their faces like, oh my God, what was that, right? And I'm looking at Pete. Pete's looking at me, and he's been on this before. He's done this before, so he's like. He looking at me, he's like, it's never done it. It's never run like that before. I'm like, why? He goes, it's never run like that before. And I'm just sitting here like, that was insane. like immediately, I was like, that was insane. Like I got off and had to go get a drink. I was like,
yes,
that. So the reason why that was a crazy experience because when we got back to our house, I literally sat on a stool, and we were waiting for Ryan and Dan to get in because Dan had missed his flight out of New York, so he missed night 1 of Hollywood Nights. Him and B-May, and so we're waiting for they took a flight to Columbus and drove down and arrived at the house like 2 a.m. So Hollywood Nights ends at 11. We get to the house, which is literally across the street, right in front of the park, and I sat in the stool for 3 hours, just saying nothing and just thinking about like what just happened. And like this is after riding it like 10 to 15 more times. But that first time I rode it was just like the sparks in the wheels and the burning sensation and not knowing where you're going and the insane speed.
Mm-hmm.
That I've never experienced it before. Like I know what to expect on it now, and it still blows me away. Like even when I ride it now today, but like that first time, I had no words. The only other coaster experience that I would like say that was crazier than that is Cannibal at Lagoon when we got to ride it literally in the middle of a lightning and thunderstorm. So they shouldn't have dispatched the train. So it's like it's downpouring. The park just closed. They probably meant to evacuate us off, but they let us go anyway. And we're going up the vertical shaft, and the doors open up, and there's like 3 lightning bolts that come out. Like the
oh my god,
wind's blowing. I'm talking like torrential downpour, and the coaster scoots forward. And I'm the whole time I'm thinking, there's no way they're gonna send this train. And they sent us. So I was like, oh my god. So we got to ride Cannibal in a lightning storm. Like, and if you've ever been on Cannibal, like the stinky.
I've not ridden that one yet.
It's just like it's so high, it's got the inverted drop, so the steepest drop. Well, it used to have the steepest drop, but like, so it's like it's hitting our face, and it hurts so much because it's rain. But like the whole time thinking like we're gonna get struck with lightning, and we come back in to the station, and the ride officer he's like the one right, like apologizing. He's like, "Oh my god, are you guys okay? The park is closed, and like, I think we hit the wrong button." And I got stuff, and I'm just like, and I'm looking at Kat, and like there's 2 other girls that are behind us. One's like a 13-year-old, one's like a 5-year-old. The 5-year-old like terrified out of her mind, but the 13-year-old is like clapping, like like a GP clapping, like, "Oh my god, that was insane!" I'm like, you have no idea. We almost just died. I'm pretty sure. We almost got struck by lightning. There was 3 lightning bolts that came out there. It was like a movie scene, like out of a horror movie. It's just like we're 220 feet up in the air, man. And lightning strikes coming down, like in the middle of a torrential downpour. I'm like, there's no way that we're riding it, and they sent it. I'm like, so Cannibal almost made me a cannibal. So like that was great. That was great.
That is definitely a first. I've not heard anything quite like that. I've definitely had some monsoon rain rides, but
I'll never get those lightning strikes. And Kat, the girl Kat, I've got a YouTube, I've got an Instagram story. We're exiting the ride on Cannibal, and she is laughing the entire time. As she's just in a hysterical laugh for like 2 minutes straight. I don't know if she's laughing because of the ride experience, or she's laughing because that was her way of dealing with the fact that we almost just got killed on a roller coaster. Like that was her way of dealing with it. So I thought that was kind of cool. I shot the video. I was like, look at her. I'm like, she's hysterically laughing. I'm like, she's just laughing so hard. But I think maybe because we survived, we're survivors. Is why she's laughing. I'm assuming why she's laughing because I couldn't see anything and it hurt. Going through a monsoon in the middle of a lightning storm. I have a thunderstorm, a lightning storm ride. I'll never forget that. Kind of want another one. Now that I'm thinking about it. Kind of want another one.
It reminds me of an old movie quote. I can't remember the movie it was from. The infamous line, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?"
Thank you, sir. May
I have another ride.
And I'm good at movies too. I'm not sure what that one is, but like I've heard it before. I just can't put my name in it. Someone's gonna comment on that and they'll let us know.
Yep. So what did you tell me your coaster count is at again?
So I'm at 446.
Okay. Out of those 446 coasters, what would you say is your favorite coaster?
There is nothing that is better than the Voyage. That's just what it is. So like there's Voyage is in my number 1 spot, and then I have a gap And then comes number 2, which is El Toro from I love El Toro. That's followed by I-305, and then this is a new year. So Gwazi just entered the picture into the top 5. My top 5 hadn't changed in 5 years, unfortunately, 4 or 5 years. So we're glad to have Gwazi part of the crew. Yeah. It felt bad to kick somebody out of the top 5, but somebody had to go. But thankfully, Sky Rush is still hanging there. But no, my number 1 and favorite coaster is the Voyage, and it's everything I could ever want in a roller coaster. And we've already talked about it, but like it is just superior. You know, you get everything: laterals, airtime, length, speed, intensity, height. Like there's literally no component that you do not get on Voyage as a part of a roller coaster.
And you know, we definitely have a similar taste in coasters, just a little bit of a different order. Voyage is my number 2. Iron Gwazi is my number 1. You mentioned El Toro. El Toro was my 300th back in July. And if it tells you anything with how busy I've been, I'm now at 353. Just this July. Of course, my travels have slowed down a bit now that I'm back to work. But I should actually end the year at 355. I've got a couple more credits I'm trying to get, which will be nice to hit. So at the rate I'm going, I might hit 400 and 500 next year. I don't know yet.
Let's go. Go get it. Yeah, I like that. I love that.
El Toro is my new number 6. I absolutely loved El Toro. It's my second favorite Woody behind Void. I mean, it's like comparing, I don't know, apples to oranges. They're both really good.
Yeah, they're both very good. Offer some different things on there.
They do. El Toro was a lot shorter.
Yeah, a little shorter. Yeah, a lot shorter. More moments of stronger airtime on Toro for those camelback hills, and especially the Rolling Thunder Hill, which is, oh my God.
And I definitely did have to be pickier with my rows on El Toro.
Okay.
I love row 17 for me was magic, especially on the left side.
Left side? Is that the middle seat in the back train? Is that
yes.
What it is? Okay, yeah. Okay.
It's the next to last row.
Oh, you found the right seat then. Okay, I was gonna say like that's my favorite seat on the ride.
Yep. Row 17 left side.
Row 17, she understands it. She gets it. Okay.
Yes.
I think it's so funny, like how people I love that about enthusiasts. Like we all have we're our own worst critics when it comes to certain things. And it's like, oh yeah, I love that, but I can only ride in row 17, left side, right side. Well, and then you have some people might get mad. They run, I only got a front row ride. I'm like, you still got a great ride. But I love the fact that we all have it's so it's what really, I love that about our community. Like everybody's got their thing. And it's so cool. Like, where are you going? I'm going to row 17. It's like, well, what's wrong with row 18? It's like, I like row 17. You're gonna find it's like, and a regular person's like,
and that's
they look at it like it's only like 2 feet. I'm like, there's 2 feet matters.
And I got 12 rides on it on that trip.
You had a good day.
Yeah. And I went different. Well, we went a couple of days and we had different priorities, like each time we went. So we could get a lot, try to get multiple rides on the best coasters in the park, plus, get all the credits. But try different rows,
Oh yeah, you figure out exactly
go back and forth, and then
it's all about finding that sweet spot. Yeah,
finding the magic seed, but that was definitely where it was.
And everybody's got their own sweet spot, so that's amazing. That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, if he's watching this, and I hope he is, or listening to this as well. Listen here, Salim. We're gonna need you to make sure with you being the CEO of Six Flags, we don't care about many other rides at the Six Flags Park, but that's your best one at all the Six Flags parks combined. Now, that's your best one. So you have to get that right. So do whatever you need to do to pass the security and the New Jersey legislature. Just get all that done and just get Toro back and running next year. And then make sure you keep it safe and keep it running. That is his only job. He can do whatever he wants with the prices. I don't really care about that. I mean, he's got a vision, and good luck to him. I don't agree with all of it, but I know what he wants to do. I only care about El Toro. So I'm just like, listen, I'm like, you got hundreds of rides and all your parts together. The only one that matters to me, that's the most important, at least, is El Toro. So just we don't have any other intimate prefabs in the United States. Okay, so don't mess that up. Like, don't mess that up. That's my only advice for him. He can come out and make a statement and like, hey, I got Toro fixed. And like everyone would forgive him for everything. I promise you. That's free advice to you, Celine, from Airtime Myke.
I second that opinion. So El Toro is your favorite coaster. All the coasters you've ridden, what would you say is your least favorite coaster?
Oh man. Oh man. So contrary to believe like free spins are not like the worst coaster experience I have. I just don't like them for what they are. Right? Like they don't do anything. There's no layout, there's no airtime, there's no laterals, there's no like real intensity, there's no custom layout. It's just like a giant flat ride. But the worst coaster I had ridden is now gone. It's defunct, as it should be, and I'm glad it got scrapped. And that was Goliath at Six Flags, New England. You want to talk about like one of the I got off Goliath at Six Flags, New England, and I thought I broke my back. Like I did. I got off. I had to be assisted. I met a kid at the park there when I was doing my little mini New England area marathon, as we all do road trips, and I rode the boomerang before the other boomerang in the park. What park has two boomerangs right next to each other? Like that's whose idea was that? That you can't even blame Celine for that. That's pretty Celine. But so it comes up and I get on there and it's kind of cool. Like the vertical drop is actually okay. We're falling, we're going down. And then that's those 3 seconds was that's it. Once we turned up there to go straight, it started janking and throwing you around. And it felt like people call Skyrush's first drop a car crash. Well, Goliath really was a car wreck. And then it was a car wreck that got hit by another truck while you're already upside down and rolling in the middle of the street. And then another truck comes, hits you again, spins you around. And then if that's not good enough, man, then you got Godzilla who wants to come through and step on the car. Like that's how the ride felt. It was just a bunch of pain, mess, jerkiness, to the point that when the ride stopped, I was like begging to stop the ride. I was like, stop. Because when we went up the spike the second time to go through it again, I don't even hold on to the restraints on any roller coaster. I'm holding on because I'm trying to preserve what's left in my body, because I know I've got to drive home at some point. In New England, I'm 9 hours away from my home. And the kid I met at the park, man, God bless him, because the ride stops and I'm literally hunched over. He helps me off the ride. I had to he was like a 13 or 14-year-old kid, and he's like a cross country runner. I hope he's doing well. I miss that guy, man. He's cool. And but I used him as a crutch, basically, like a giant human crutch. Like he was walking, and he's just literally dragging this 6'1" guy to the exit. And I lay down on the concrete in the middle of the heat in July. It's like 11:30 in the morning. I'm laid out because I can't move. I'm in that much pain. I'm I can't even move. I can't even move. This is gonna be the first member I've ever complained. I looked at this thing. I'm never again. Literally, even bad coasters, I've given it a second shot. I'm looking at you, Wildcat, Hershey Park. Lake Compounds. I gave that a second ride, and it was still horrible. But this one, when they announced it was closing, and then I saw the picture of it getting scrapped, I went out to dinner and celebrated. And it was cool, man. I treated myself to a steak dinner. Because the world got better.
Goodness,
it was great.
That is epic.
Went out there and got me a nice porterhouse, medium rare. It was juicy. It was great because the ride went down. I know as enthusiasts we don't like that kind of stuff, but I celebrated. They had the only thing I'm just mad about, they didn't invite me to come help them tear it down. I would have gladly came up there, taking the blow torches or move the crane or bulldoze it. I would have been proud to help. That coaster sucked. It was trash. It was garbage. I know they switched the trains out when they relocated from Magic Mountain. So I don't know what happened during the transportation process and why they switched the trains out to the trains, but God, that was horrible. Like that was horrible. Now, I haven't been I haven't been to Lagoon yet, and not Lagoon. I haven't been to Silverwood, and so they've got a giant boomerang there that apparently is built the way it is. So I'm gonna give that a shot when I go there. Hopefully later this year. Worst I've ever been in my life, and his name was Goliath. It was, Goliath stands for big and strong. It was a big pile of trash, and then it made it a big pile of trash, which was the best thing that Park's ever done. As far as like best investment they ever did in the last decade was scrapping Goliath, and I couldn't be happier. I'm not ashamed to say that.
I've heard bad coaster stories, lots of bad coaster stories, but I think this takes the prize for the absolute worst experience I've ever heard from anyone. Period.
It's gone. Like I'm glad you're gone, right? Like, I'm glad. I hated
when I think of like my worst coasters list. I absolutely despised Vortex and Carowinds.
Oh God!
I was able, but I didn't have to go lay down. I was still able to come off the ride. But you want to know what hurt even worse than that one?
Was it Nighthawk at the same park?
I don't like that one either. Not a fan, one and done. But this is hilarious. On our last road trip, actually, over Labor Day weekend, we did a day of credit chasing through Illinois so I could get all of the credits in the state that we hadn't yet acquired. The only one I'm missing is Binkson's Pumpkin Farm. It was closed. Okay. But everything else I've got. But there's this itty bitty, the smallest kitty credit I've ever seen in my life at Greedy's. I had to squeeze myself. I mean, I could get in there. I fit, but I had to sit sideways. I was surprised they made me ride. They let me in, but they let us ride. I had to sit right in front of these sideways. That thing, oh my God, it went around at least 20 times, all around and around and around. I was literally screaming, ow!
Yeah.
Ow! Through the whole ride. Nope. When I got off, there were bruises on my shins.
Nope.
I swear, if anything could have hurt worse than Vortex, that was probably it. And I had no idea that it would hurt like that until the ride was in motion. And I was literally yelling, make it stop.
Oh my goodness.
And it just kept going. Jay had a bruise on his back.
Kim, we're not supposed to get bruises on coasters unless you're riding it over and over again from Airtime. And if you ride a coaster like that, and I haven't been on that one yet, so like now I'm terrified because I get credits too, and now I'm thinking about like, am I gonna have a new number one now? As far as like work, so and now I'm kind of dreading it because if you have to like squeeze in and like I've stood next to you and I'm taller than you are, I don't even want to think about that. But oh my goodness, did you have like so? For you, the pain, right, that you went through there, would you get back on it again to give it a second chance? Would you give it a good? Would you give it a good Kim go look around just to see if it could be better in a different row?
That was just a credit. That was a credit. That's all.
There you go. It's one of those credit and forget it's. That's what we call
it. I'll tell you another one too that made me question life choices was we rode last July. We were able to ride Blue Flash and Blue 2. And Blue 2 was fine. But Blue Flash, that's like you get one shot to ride that thing and ride it right.
And I know somebody
you're going to wind up with some major chiropractic bills.
Oh man.
And I mean, I did. I nailed it. Because I told him, I said, I need you to tell me how to ride. I said, tell me how and when to move. And he did.
I've heard some bad things about that coaster also.
Oh, yeah. And I'm like, all right, let's see if I can do this. And I did. I did it. And I was fine. But he looked at me and said, you want to go again? And I said, no, I'm not tempting fate. Because I don't want to know how it would feel
No, we're done.
I didn't do it exactly.
Credit and forget it. Move on and just keep going. If you're able to keep going, keep going. If you can keep going.
Absolutely. Okay. So that's the end of our portion of the interview with the roller coaster time capsule. Now we're going to go into the portion of the interview that has more specific questions about you.
Okay.
You know, and your more current situation with your more current role in the coaster community. We're going to start with this. I would like you to tell me about your history with the Toro Ryan YouTube channel. How did you become involved, and what is your current role?
Gotcha. So that's kind of cool. Like I met Peter first on the channel. So we have Pete and Ski Pete, whatever we call him, Ski Pete. And I met Pete first out of the whole crew. And me and him were at an ACE event where we were doing a media shoot for Twisted Timbers. This is in like early March of 2018. And he was telling me about, Ryan, and hey, have you ever heard of Toro Ryan? I'm like, I said, I think I've come across the video or two. And at the time, I think Ryan had like 2 or 3 videos at the time, but like he was doing the skateboarding videos. He used to do a lot of skating videos. So I checked it out when I got in. And then I actually ended up meeting Ryan at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. A few weeks later, he came down to visit because they were also coming out to see Timbers, and I missed them at Kings Dominion when they came down. And then I caught up with him over at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and like we just absolutely hit it off like immediately. Like so like because like we had chatted before, even to this day, right? All the coaches, like we're all in one group chat, that group text message, and we talk all time, all day. And like the channel itself here, like that's exactly who we are. Like we don't hide anything in it. Like you can imagine like what our text messages and conversations are like. But like as crazy as we are, but like that's every day. So it's kind of cool. So I ended up meeting him and getting involved, and they invited me to be part of the crew and everything. And I think it's really been really cool. Kind of like being with this group, because we have what I think is probably one of the more diverse groups as far as in the coach community. We have young, older, me being older, old guy. Then you have like different races, different cultures, different sexual orientation. So it's just we have pretty much everything, and we kind of like prove the notion that as a group, man, like it doesn't matter what your background is, it doesn't matter what what your beliefs are or what you look like, so like everybody can come together and have a good time and a common interest. And as far as the channel goes, Ryan is the mad scientist, like he does everything, like this guy is so talented at what he does. And pretty much the only thing I provide for the channel is every now and then, he may ask me for some like a video clip, or we may pitch an idea for something, and then he may communicate to us like, hey, I'm doing this, what do you guys think, and kind of like see feedback and get interest. And if we do any we did the media event for Pantheon, and he came down and we did the media day. So like just being involved in that kind of stuff, he gives us a lot of access to kind of like do certain things. So like even like for like simple like Mark, part of our crew, like he'll take over, he'll go to IAPA. And so like Ryan's very flexible, man. Like Ryan's all about content, right? He'll be the first to tell you, like you've had him on here already, but like he'll be the first to tell you content. But like pitching ideas, but like he does everything. Like he comes up with the concept, he does all the editing, does all the filming, does all the voiceovers, the scripts. Like he's kind of like a one-man band, and like we're just here just having fun. And every now and then I'll be in a vlog or two, and we just be ourselves, and that's pretty much it. But we kind of go out there and do that. But like I also do a lot of promoting on I have Instagram, so I'll promote a lot of videos on there or post up. So if you are following Instagram, I always update the link for our newest video that we post out there. The channel's grown so big now that he doesn't need me or anyone to do anything anymore. It used to be, we got a couple thousand here, and we post a picture like, hey, come watch the video. Now Ryan's getting like, it's getting like 70,000 views on day one now. So like, he doesn't need our help anymore. I got to stuff it all. This thing's got a life of its own, man. So proud of this guy, man. He does such good work. he recently just received his plaque for being at it for crossing that 100,000. So congratulations to you, Ryan.
I saw that.
Just keep it up, man. Like I really like the vibe of the what the channel does, and I like our group, man. I love as far as the people in the community, man, like the support they show us. It's amazing, it's just walk up to us, and I like that because we're as open and welcoming as they come. I know there's some people out there, no one is specific, but I know some people are quiet, very, very quiet, or they don't like to be approached, and I'm like, hey, I'm just the guy, that's who I am. I'm just the guy that goes to parks and wants to have fun. So somebody walks in, oh, you're Mike. I'm like, I'm just the guy at the park, man. So sure, you want to ride? Absolutely. So that's what I'm here for, so I feel like that's pretty much what I do to the channel. Basically nothing. It's just appear in the vlogs.
Well, that's something.
And
nothing.
And support this guy and give him some clap in his hands and help him charge his phone up, and take every now and then take some video footage. I've sent some video footage, and sometimes if he's not at a park and we can attend together, we'll shoot a vlog. And they'll be like, hey, can you shoot a vlog there? Like, sure, we'll shoot a vlog, man. And then guess what? He's doing all the work again, editing it. I do the easy part. I just send him into a link. He does all the work. Here you go. There's 80 clips there for you. Figure it out.
Well, I definitely vouch for what you said, about being very personal and approachable. I remember when we were at Hollywood Nights, my son, he's like, Mom, that's Airtime Myke. That's Airtime Myke. And I'm, where? What? And he was looking at you, like you were some big famous guy. And Andrew looked at me and he's like, we need to ask him if he'd like to be on the podcast. Why don't you go ask him, Kim? And I'm like, what? I don't know this guy. I talk to him. Why am I the chosen one? You go over there. And Jay sitting there was like, Mom, you've got to go talk to him. And I'm like, I have no idea how this person's going to respond to me. I don't really know what I'm going to say, but okay, let's do this. And I mean, you immediately, as soon as you open your mouth and you started talking to me, you put me at ease right away. And, I do have a tendency to become introverted quite quickly.
Okay.
If I get the vibe, that somebody really either A, doesn't want to talk to me, or B, I don't want to talk to that person. If I just feel some level of discomfort. And I mean, within a minute or two, I felt like I'd known you, for quite a while. You're just very easy to talk to, very approachable.
I appreciate that. One of first of all, you guys got to get OK Coaches on here if you can. I'll send him a message myself.
Have him contact me.
I will do that for you. But he's like, I like him because we chat every single day, right? This guy's awesome, right? So he tells me all the time, like, you know what? He said, Mike, people you're so easily approachable, and you don't come across as entitled, but man, you're we get you going, and he said, I don't know how you do it. He goes, you can it could be someone you've never seen in your entire life, and then the moment you they say something to you, or they're kind of nervous, you just make it so simple and so easy. And I never believed that, but I often never believed that. But now that I've heard it from you, and I've heard it from another podcast I did also as well, Coach Talk podcast. What's up, my guy? And and he made this similar comments, and I'm just like, listen, I'm just. I personally don't think I'm anything any special at all. I'm just a 6'1", black dude who likes to go to parks. And the only reason I probably stand out is because there's not a ton of black enthusiasts in our community. Rob's Rides, what's up? And I'll probably go into a little detail later on. GP coaches, what's going on, guys? So with those guys, but as far as enthusiasts, I guess I kind of stand out. I'm like, well, I said, if you look at our channel, man, it's you got a bunch of, so you got Ryan Legends, but I'm pretty sure I stand out because I'm the only black dude in the channel. So I'm pretty sure it's not hard to miss the tall guy over there with the long hair, I guess, smiling, who just, yelling on I-305.
Well, I really make a strong connection with what your channel represents. I mean, a little bit of history about me. I was raised in a very small town of 10,000 people.
Okay.
Basically, if you were not white and straight, you're going to hell. I mean, that's the way I was raised. That's it. That was how I was raised. And, you know, life experiences happened. And the school that I'm at, you know, I feel like God put me there for a reason. I've been teaching for 24 years. I've been at my school for 19 years. We are, you know, in inner city Louisville. We're in English as a second language school with 26 different languages spoken in school.
That's amazing.
We have, I know there's, you know, we have straight teachers, we have homosexual teachers, we have transgender, we have everybody. And all I can say is what a blessing it has been. Because, you know, once what my nephew says it best. He says small towns produce small minds. And boy, true words were never spoken. You know, once I got out of there and really started experiencing the world, the more I appreciate diversity, and I find myself drawn more to communities that have that. And, you know, the more I talk to people that, you know, maybe have a different opinion than me or have a different background than me, you know, from a different walk of life than I do. One of the things I really enjoy is, you know, number one, learning and educating myself, but also, you know, even if we don't agree, you know, being able to sit down and have a conversation and learn from each other. And I think that's what a lot of society today is lacking is, you know, if you don't agree with me, you're canceled. You know, this whole cancel culture movement, you know, and that sort of thing. I embrace the opportunity to be with people that are different than me, you know. And I have many friends. I have so many friends with different cultural backgrounds, different political preferences, different religions, and none of that matters to me. You know, we learn from each other, we appreciate each other, and we all get together to do what we love. That's what's important.
I love that. And the way you articulated that is spot on. Like every single word you just mentioned there. And you know, it's crazy because like the whole point of America, right, is like the United States of America is we're supposed to be the nation of diversity as far as just how we embody our culture and what we are, and the whole, you know, point of succeeding back, you know, hundreds of years ago from the country, but like we're looked at so differently. Like if you visit other countries or whatever, it's just like you just looked at so differently. But I agree with that. You know, like ignorance is it can only be stated so well when you got people that are that dislike someone by the way they look or the way they talk, or you difference of opinion, or no one's going to agree on everything. You can in a respectful way disagree with someone. You can also, in a calm and polite way, say, "Hey, I may not like your stance on something, or I may not agree with what you have going on, or hey, you know, because you're a Republican, or if you're, you know, Democrat, or if you're, you know, liberal." So it's just you know, it doesn't matter, you know, that stuff doesn't matter. No one's going to agree on everything like all at the same time. And if we had a world like that, there'd be no progression. So it's important to have, like as you mentioned as well, a nice foundation of, I'm glad that you got that opportunity to go there and kind of see, hey, you know, I got out of a situation where if you're white and straight, then you're going to hell, right? But like if you're never taken out of that environment and shown something different, it's all you know. And as you mentioned, the more you learn, the more you can grow and expand your depth of knowledge, and actually makes you a better person.
Yes.
And also it just I'm all about getting more knowledge on anything. I don't like to pertain as ignorant. So I love that. And it also makes this world less judgmental. So The less you can judge, the more accepting the world becomes, and there's less friction. And then everyone, as far as human beings, are having a better life.
Yes, totally agree. So, thinking back to talking about the Toro Ryan YouTube channel, you talked about just self. So, you being you, uniquely you, within the full realm of the YouTube channel, what unique contributions do you feel that you've brought to the channel with your own personality?
Well, I think it's I really love what Brandon does. This is Theme Park Predictions, and he's always got this beautiful saying at the end of his video, be positive and just keep writing. So like I feel like probably what I bring is just, I bring awareness of just be yourself at all times, and just have fun and try to enjoy as you can, and just be realistic. So I'm not someone that's it's just like PC or corporate at all. I'm gonna say what I feel when I feel like saying it, right? So that's how I am. I know I can do stuff in a respectful way, like, and I don't back off of certain things. And I'm not really a go with the flow kind of guy. I'm more of a what's that? Like one of the wonderful things, like, do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. And so like that's more who I am. And so as far as the channel, like I'm always looking to, I'm more about what can be done that's not the same, right? It's not the same that someone else is doing. Anybody, and it's no disrespect to anybody at all, but like, there people do countdowns and people do this and rankings, like they're not easy at all. They're very difficult to do. But something like what Ryan does as far as like the problematic coasters, like breaking down rides, teaching people about, like even like not even just enthusiasts, regular people, right? Like, because the people that generate more views on channel aren't enthusiasts. We're nothing. Like, we're like a small part of we're the small part of people that attend parks. And so your general audience has to be people that are just clicking on something, they don't know anything about it. But those problematic coach videos are amazing. Like the level of detail and the work that Ryan puts in as far as the research. I can't tell you how hard those are. So like, I encourage it for him, right? So like for me, like I feel like, giving him more encouragement, giving him more, hey man, how about you try this ride? I think that'd be a good one, try this coaster out. What do you think about this one? Or he's got another series coming out that I'm not going to spoil because that's his platform. Another series coming out, which I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Because it hasn't been done before. But like, I'm all about, I think what I bring is creativity. I'm always trying to be different than what something else has already been done. And if you do something else has done, have your own style or your own flavor on it that's kind of different from everybody else. That way it stands out. Someone that does something that someone else does, it doesn't really like make you brand unique, but like build your brand, make it something unique, and then at the same time always be centered to who you are. So that's kind of like what I kind of like, provide for him. Like, hey, keep being you. Don't ever change from that. Don't ever change who you are. Just stay in the flow. And if you got an idea or a concept, and even if you think it's a bad one, try it anyway. You don't know what it's going to be. Try it out anyway. Throw it out there. See if it, if someone bites on it. If no one bites the hook, okay, it's cool. We can throw more lines in the ocean. It's okay. So, but like, just put it out there, see if anybody to bite. If not, cool. There's more coming.
And that's one of the things as a teacher too, that I see so much in children, that I spend so much time trying to help them overcome, is the pressure to be like everybody else. And as an art teacher too, you'll see the kids, they're trying to make their work look just like somebody else's, or whatever, or it's not good enough in their opinion if it's not like somebody else's. So, that's one of the talks that we have a lot, and even in my classroom, is if everybody's work was the same, my job would be boring. I see about 150 kids a day, give or take. And if I sit down and I look at the same work over and over again, 150 times, how exciting do you think my job would be? And I mean, the kids will laugh because I'm like, all my hair would be gray. I would get old really fast. I'd be tired and I want to go do something else.
You're right.
You know, then they start to get it. You know, and I tell them, nobody ever changed the world by doing what everybody else does.
That's right.
You have to do something different. You know, you put your own spin on it, do your own touch, you know, and that really, it does. It starts to get them more inspired to try new things, not be so afraid, you know, to make mistakes or whatever, or, you know, worry about it if it doesn't look like somebody else's, but, you know, appreciate what they can do and what they bring, you know, what they bring to the table. And it's, you know, like that too, outside of the classroom with, like you said, being who you are and not changing yourself to be what you think others want you to be in order to fit in.
Yeah, because if you do that, if you conform to someone else's ideals of what they want you to be, then you're not really being you.
No.
Yeah, there's nothing genuine about that. So I agree that's awesome that you do art, because like I you know, it's funny. I started college as an art major because like, art was a big part of my life growing up. I was an AP art in high school, and I was very good at portraits and still life. So I can draw anything. I can draw anything and make it look exactly what it is. And chalk pastel was like charcoal and chalk pastel was my mediums to go to. And kind of like Gabby, like Gabby Gomez, whatever. Like she's a tremendous artist. Her Casey, you know, like these are guys are tremendous artists, and I love like what they would always put out there for the working creativity. I love supporting them what they do. But you know, I was an art major, so it's kind of cool because art is subjective, right? So like there's nothing ever wrong as far as art piece, because all it is an artist putting out what they vision as far as vision, and then and that's why I think something I've always loved about art is that it's just you can put anything on paper or any kind of medium or paint or and put out there, and like there's always something to be found on the sheet. And then if you're, as Bob Ross used to say, you know, if you make a happy mistake, there are no mistakes. They're called happy accidents.
You're kidding me. I have a big plush Bob Ross in my classroom.
Oh, you really?
Oh, yes, I do. And every time I get a new group of kids, I gotta go get Bob. And they know I'll say, no mistakes. They'll say only happy accidents.
Happy accidents.
And they know Bob's up there. They know Bob's watching. And then they're not allowed to ball up that paper and throw it away either. We have
great guy. I was obsessed with him. I mean, like I just saw a documentary about his life on Netflix a few weeks ago, actually, with his son, and they're kind of telling the stories about his life. It's pretty interesting. I learned a whole lot about him that I didn't know behind the scenes. But yeah, that's kind of cool that you're digging art, man. That's awesome.
Well, and the kids will look at me. They're so proud of themselves. So, look, Miss Dykes, I made a happy accident. And they're happy with it. I mean, this is a 180 from some of them a few years ago before I brought Bob into the classroom that would just get angry and tear the paper up. They don't do it anymore.
I love the fact that you got a white dude out there with a fro and a beard. That's so great. Probably got a
found him on I found a big one on eBay for $15.
That's awesome.
I get it. Okay. So back to our questions. What do you strive to bring to the coaster community as a recognizable influencer in the amusement parks?
You know what? It's that's a really good question. You know, like I said, I just probably just kind of continue the same path as our previous stuff here. Like just excitement. You know, it's just having an awareness to amusement park. And like for me, it's more than just, you know, coasters, flat rides, and, you know, popcorn or funnel cakes or, you know, drinks at the park, man. Like for me, it is like I didn't know how much I missed a park until the pandemic happened, right? So Kings Dominion was closed for the entire 2020 season. And they closed in 526 days. You know, I like my home park, I had no access to it, right? And so with that and Busch Gardens, having their kind of like semi kind of opening, but not really. It was just it was hard for me. And so like what I really strive to influence is that there's more to, you know, going to the music park than just, you know, riding coasters and kind of eating, man. Like one thing it does is you walk probably like without even knowing it, you probably walk about 10 miles a day. So it's like a good way to exercise. It's a wonderful foundation to like work on building personal skills and interacting with others. You also have a discipline that you learn as well too, as far as like learning to adhere to specific rules and guidelines in place. The area, I mean, the job, the amusement park is supposed to be fun, right? And so you learn patience as well too. Like, hey, I got to stand in line for 30, 35, 40 minutes. So, you know, like you kind of pick up on a lot of like regular day or regular life value that you never really consider. It's really, you never step back and think, hey, I'm learning how to like be around. I'm also in a public place where I'm just surrounded by every type of group of people out here. Like no one cares, right? No one's over here thinking, hey, oh my God, the guy just sat down. I don't want to sit in the same seat as Airtime Myke sat in because he was over there, and I don't believe in that and kind of stuff. Like, no, you build friendships, you build relationships, you build lifetime bonds. There are people that have met their husbands and their wives. You know, like you bring your family. So I just try to bring an awareness to like, hey, you know, come out of the house.
Yes.
Go visit a park, you know, saying like go out there and, you know, and have a good time and just kind of just relax and enjoy yourself and don't overthink it, you know, like, so like, don't say, hey, oh my God, it's 35 minutes. And like, you know, you're that person that's like, oh, this ride up's going to do this and this person's doing that. I'm like, let's have a conversation while we're in line. Take a look at the structure that we're looking at and how do you think they built this? And you know, think about that. Think about when they put this together, or the engineer was mapping out the you know, the blueprints and saying, hey, what we're gonna do on Intimate 3 at 5 is we're gonna have it drop in here in 5 feet and turn to 5 to 6 G's. And I was like, what? And like, somebody was like, yeah, that's a good idea, you know, and I'm thankful for that, you know. But so I hope to bring a level of, hey, awareness to parks. I got so many coworkers and friends that haven't been to parks, and then they started watching the channel, and then they actually started going to parks. And so
that's awesome.
And it brought like friendship. It really brought joy, and especially for like children and kids growing up. You know, like, you know, we live in this digital world where everybody sits behind a phone or a laptop or, you know, tablet or a computer screen, and you know, with a strike of a button, they don't learn life goals, right? Hey, you disagree with me, you don't like what I say, I'll block you or I'll unfriend you.
Exactly, whatever, right? That's what we were discussing earlier.
Yeah, and so like being able to like get out into and put you in an environment where you're forced to interact. Yes. And you know, forced to interact, and you kind of learn this kind of ways, and it actually builds you as a person. Okay, now you know what? I spent the day. You don't realize, but yeah, I spent the day at Kings of Man, man. I got to hang out with my dad or my sister or my mom, and I never really do at home. And we didn't just sit around and just watch a movie or, you know, just go. We got to go out and talk, and we walked, and we had conversations, and we got to go on an observation tower. We got to go ride a few things. Or the people that don't ride, hey, come take a look at these trees and the scenic, and look around, and, you know, grab a bite and just smile, and, you know, be the bag person. If you're going to be the bag person that holds the bags while everybody's on, own that. You know, be that bag person. So that's what I try to do. I try to instill a level of awareness and positivity to the community, to get people to go out there and just enjoy the time, because, you know, the more people come out and enjoy parks, the more that I'm going to get out of it personally, because if, you know, attendance goes up and people spend their money, we'll get new things. We'll get new companies. Who knows what's going to be the next RMC? They didn't exist prior to 2011. No, so like, who knows, you know, what we're going to have next year, and then what we'll have 10 years from now, because 10 years ago we had New Texas Giant. That's all we had. We didn't know, like, hey, we're gonna get Gwazi and, you know, like Twisted Timbers and Vengeance and all these rides later on in life. We didn't know that they even existed. So the more people come out there, the more awareness comes out. You know, the more awareness, the more money gets built, and it builds capital. And, you know, these companies and these parks can just continue to grow and build. And then more importantly, it gets people from just getting out of the home and just sitting around and doing nothing. Be active. I'm all about being active. So like just be as active as you possibly can. And that's kind of like what I think I want to bring to this community.
You were talking about the exercise benefit of amusement parks. that is one of the main things that has motivated me to get healthy and stay healthy. Reality is, if I want to be able to get around the parks physically, but and also ride the coasters to the level that I want to be able to ride them, experience them, I have to take care of my body.
Right.
So it doesn't hurt. I have arthritis in my knees. Even though I've lost the weight, arthritis doesn't go away. It's there, kind of like a dark shadow, but my knees don't hurt as long as I keep the strength built up in my legs. But, I did notice it was actually just a year ago, after Kings Island closed down for the season, within 2 weeks, even though I had a significant portion of my weight off, I wasn't quite finished yet, but I had a significant portion of my weight off. My knee pain was gone. Within 2 weeks of Kings Island closing, my knee pain came back. And that, literally a stabbing pain. I could hardly do the steps and stuff at work. And I'm like, that's it. You're not just going to be able, going to have to keep your weight off. You're going to have to stay in shape while the parks are closed. So, that's what really motivated me to start exercising and, take being healthy to the next level. And I did not even fully realize the benefits of it until this year. Like some of the RMCs, I remember Still Vengeance used to physically hurt me. It hurt my legs and stuff. I could ride it maybe 2 or 3 times and then I would have to stop. This year, I could ride it as many times as I wanted to. No pain whatsoever. I've got the core strength built up, got my leg strength built up. And it's the health benefits of parks and and coaster riding for me have been life transforming. And I really like that you mentioned the different roles that people can have going to amusement parks, because some people think, oh, I don't ride roller coasters, there's no reason for me to go. But you talk, like even the person holding the bags, there's something there for everybody. And once you're there, atmosphere, it keeps a lot of people wanting to come back. And you were talking about waiting in those long lines. I can be in a 2-hour line, and if I'm with the right people, that 2-hour wait can feel like 10 minutes.
Flies right by. It just flies right by.
It does.
And it's cool because you're right? It could take an introverted person and make them, come out of their shells, and it could take an extroverted person, kind of like myself here, and make them, bring it down a little notch also as well, and become listeners, which I like to do. And I was laughing because someone was like, I was asking, do you guys think I'm an introvert or an extrovert? They're like, we don't have to ask that question. I was like, are you sure? I was like, I'm a quiet guy. They're like, no, you're not. I'm sure.
Well, you have selective quiet moments.
I guess so.
Okay, so I know we've both attended Hollywood Nights. That's where we met each other. Are there other coaster enthusiast events that you have attended? And if so, which one's your favorite and why?
Gotcha. Okay, so I've been to a lot. I've done the Phoenix Fall Fun Festival. I've been down to Dollywood and done their Rocky Mountain kind of meet up with Ace as well. Okay. And Coaster Crew. I've done some of the other things as well, the Kings Dominion. So I've done a lot of different events. My favorite event is still Hollywood Nights. It just trumps it all. I've been to CoasterCon. So I've been in a fair amount of different events. I've been very fortunate and very lucky and thankful, man. I attend a lot of coaster openings, commercial shoots, and kind of like behind the scenes. I've had the opportunity to see a lot of things. Even as being as thankful as going to Corey Wall over at Fiesta Texas, I'm going to thank Josh. He's one of the park heads over there at Fiesta Texas for giving us the opportunity to do that. And so it's just, I've been very fortunate. But Hollywood Nights is it trumps it all, and the reason why it trumps it all is and it's not even about Trembler's Voyage at Night, which is a great thing, but it's the only time and event, only time it's a weekend experience for me. I literally cater my whole vacation around Hollywood Nights. And so I get, well, now I'm going to get like 6 weeks vacation now, but like I literally plan, like I know this year Hollywood Nights is June 2nd and June 3rd next year. I already know that. Right. So I'm already off the week before that or the week after that. I always plan it out. But it's the only time of the year where people like me, like you, like get to a park for 2 full days. The park gives you, there are people that want to film, stuff all the time. There are people that want to ride. There are people that just want to just go to get the food experience. And the holiday world does such a good job of conforming and putting this event on. You've got executives that are visible. The treatment is special. The location is in the middle of nowhere, Indiana, right? Like when I tell people I go to Santa Claus, Indiana, they think I'm lying. I'm like, no, it's a real place. It's like you're going to Santa Claus. I'm like, I'm not kidding when I say this. But like everybody comes from everywhere. You got people from California, people from Michigan, people from Texas. I'm from Virginia, like Florida. And they all come together for literally a park that has 3 wooden coasters and 1 steel coaster. This park has 4 or 5. Got the kiddie one, but they have 4 roller coasters in a water park, and they make it work to be one of the most attractive places to go. And it's because they treat you so well. You've got great food, an incredible atmosphere. I can't tell you how much the ride ops contribute to the experience of getting the energy going and the energy flowing, and just having they make it so special. Where it's like, okay, you know what? I'm just so happy to come back next year. You get a chance to marathon. If you're a photographer or if you're a videographer or cameraman, like you have, instead of like picking your moment to say, okay, well, I want to film. I don't want to miss out. Like, no, they dedicated time to you. Say, hey, you got 3 hours. We're doing a walk back tour. You got 3 hours to film. The event itself is in my opinion, it's just a perfect event. And then the people make it more special than what it is. I just love going to Hollywood Nights and why I feel like it's just so special, unique, and it's from the park appearance, the way they treat you, the rides, the people, the camaraderie, the food, the atmosphere, the energy. You're never gonna I've done them all. There's no other event where people bring that much energy into a coaster event. And it has been topped for me. I don't think it can be topped, and it's a reason why I'm going to continue to keep attending every single year.
I would agree with the energy level, the hype of going through the line each time to ride Voyage just builds and builds and builds and builds, and it doesn't let up the whole evening. And I think that's what gives me the stamina to keep riding that many times. So let's talk about your most recent contribution to the coaster community. Tell me more about your Black Coaster Enthusiast meetups. What's inspired you to organize those? What kind of impact do you feel that they've had on the community? What kind of impact has it had on you? And what are your plans for the future?
Thanks for asking about that, Kim. And here's the and I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite here, but the Black Enthusiast meetup, Hollywood Nights is the best, coaster event, but this was the best overall coaster weekend I ever did. And it all stemmed from I've been trying to do it for a few years. And it all started with kind of within my own group. I'm not the only Black dude in the group. Well, and a half Black. Ryan is half Black, so he technically counts. So, and what I kept seeing was that there weren't a lot of people at parks that actually looked like me as far as in the community. Rob's rides. Rob, man, I followed Rob before I followed Ryan, and man, he got such a great humor, and I love what he did as far as he's super intelligent when it comes to his memes and his coaching and the way he puts his words adaptation in there. But between him and I'd say actually just Rob. He's the only other Black enthusiast that I pretty much knew when it came to Black enthusiasts. And over the years, met a whole lot more coming out, but there's just so few, right? And I remember thinking one day when I was making a list, I'm like, okay, there's me. I said, I know there's me. I know there's Angelo Giles. I know there's Rob. You got Mr. King Coasters out there. You got Jewel the Magic. I was like, okay, we got Gooch and Dewey. Okay, it's like, okay, so and then then I started going even more. Like, you got Izzy out there, and then as the more I keep talking, I'm counting. I'm like, okay, I got 7, 8 people. I'm like, is that all we have in this community? And then it made me think that, well, maybe there's not an awareness that, hey, this is something that, Black people do. Like we go out, go to the parks and ride things. It's like, maybe they don't know. And so when I came up with the idea, it was more on, okay, I wanted to be, hey, let's get some Black people together and all come to a park, and then it kind of expand out to minorities in general. It's like, okay, let's just kind of expand this out here and just kind of see what we can do out here. And sadly, I got a lot of pushback. I used to get hate messages and hate mails from people like, hey, we're gonna ruin the event, and what if someone did an all white event, and so it's just like,
oh, goodness.
Yeah, it was. I got some serious pushback, which is why initially, and even to this day, for this first one, we never announced the location of where it was, just the date, just so because we didn't want to have any kind of problems at all for the first time. And as I put it out there, I probably expected maybe just those 6 or 7 to come out, and then it ended up being amazing because we ended up getting
the pictures.
Yeah, we ended up getting 30. For the first, for the first time around. And now you've got, there's a group out there called Mountain Coaster Enthusiasts. They're on Facebook. I definitely check them out if you know them as well. And then Swaggy's out there. And so then you've got then you get the Black Coaster Enthusiasts, Black Coaster Society. And so I'm learning about other different groups that are out here. And then when we had the event, there was so much support. It was almost overwhelming. We did our best to work with the park. And to get we don't want anything special privileges at all. We just put it aware that, hey, we're going to be at the park on this day. If you do see a group of a lot of walking through, just just in case to kind of put an awareness. And they didn't really work with us as well we wanted to. We did get some help from our friend named Will. He's with Busch Gardens, and he gave us a nice little picnic area on day 2. But it exploded after the first time. It was by far the best day. We went to Kings Dominion on a Saturday. We put it to a vote to what park we wanted to attend, and this was not like this. So the concept and idea was mine, but I wanted the everyone to vote on where they wanted to go, and we wanted to do it. And then it was Julius who had the idea that we should do it on June, because we're trying to find the date, and he was like, how great would it be to do it on Juneteenth weekend? The symbolization of Black people being free and the recognition of the hard work and what we went through as far as for being slaves. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Let's do that. And the only problem with that I did not think about until about a week before is that's also Father's Day weekend. So we're changing it up next year, but it was amazing. We went to Kings Dominion on a Saturday. We started out in front, and then ended up being over almost 30 people, and then it grew, and then we had the most best day at Kings Dominion. A fast lane wasn't necessary. We got to ride every coaster in the park. We had people flying in. Miguel, the annual pass holder, who's actually changed his name now. He made a nice vlog that he's got up there now on it also as well. And so check it out on YouTube if you haven't had a chance to see it yet. And it was unbelievable. We did Kings Dominion on Saturday, Juneteenth weekend, and the remaining did Busch Gardens on Sunday. And then after the event was closed, after this wonderful day, no problems with the park, we ate at the Outpost Cafe there in Jungle X and got to meet the chefs, and we just had it was such an amazing time. And the biggest feedback I got from the guys that when I was hanging around was we didn't know there were so many people out here that actually love coasters that were Black, and we didn't think it was acceptable to be someone of Black nature that actually go out and enjoys parks. And I'm glad that it wasn't looked at as, hey, we're trying to better up people or do something better than that. It's like, no, we're just trying to provide an awareness. I've seen a few things like that now. Like ever since even before our event, I saw the girls do the women's takeover on Voyage. I thought that was amazing. Just seeing women in the community, and then as far as planning for next year, yeah, we're actually doing this next year, and it's actually way bigger next year. So we're probably going to have about maybe like 1 to 200 next year. We're actually going to over Georgia next year. Everything was voted. So like this, we did everything by vote. This is not my choice. Everything was by vote. I didn't even want Kings Dominion is my home park, right? So originally the plan was to do Carowinds, and they got everybody voted out away from Carowinds. Like, we'd rather go to Kings Dominion. I was like, okay. The criteria was basically, we want a park that was close to an airport so that people can travel. And then if people didn't have like rental cars and couldn't afford them, they can have like an easy, quick Uber, or people can ride into the parks pretty well. Criteria was that hotel near property, a good park, fun park, good ride selection, overall good experience, location prime. And I thought Carowinds was kind of the perfect spot for that. And these guys are like, Mike, they all voted for Kings Dominion because they wanted to tie in Busch Gardens along with Pantheon. So that's kind of cool. So next year we're doing Atlanta. We're going to get over Georgia, and we're going to do Fun Spot Atlanta next year. And we're just switching up the dates on there because we can't take fathers away from their kids on Father's Day weekend. So we're going to be doing it the following weekend. And this thing has got so much legs now that my inbox was like almost overwhelming with responses and messages. Hey, I want to go. What's going on next time? We didn't have any Black females, so we're really encouraging Black females to come next year, which there are. I think we've already got like 20 that have already said they're going to come through and kind of and set it up here. But this is going to be major next year. Now, thankfully, I do know one of the people that actually works in the upper management for Over Georgia. So like we should probably be able to do a lot more as this event gets going and gets bigger. But like, this is going to be something we're going to try to do every single year, and we're going to change locations every single year also. And so I think we voted on Georgia for next year. I think the year after, I think we're going to Texas in 24. And that's where Juneteenth was born from. So we're going to pay homage to history when we do that. But yeah, that was the biggest thing. The biggest thing was people didn't know, and then it gave people to feel comfortable. And I heard some amazing stories, like from just from certain people out here, who used to be Type X Thrills. Alan out there in California holding it down. He's just like, Mike, I was going to parks by myself. And then another guy, he's like, hey, I was going to parks by myself. And I was like, I didn't know, so I didn't know, or I find one other. So we had a blast, and I'm glad it's ignited something new in the community. And then that's really, really grown into something that I didn't expect to see, honestly, because I didn't know so many Black people really like to go to parks. And now we're going to get even next year. I'm really excited. It will be really, really exciting. I'm really looking forward to next year as far as that goes. And it went, I want to say this as well too, before I'm going to talk about it a lot, but it went without a single hiccup. Like it literally went without a single hiccup. No drama. No one got any arguments. No fighting. It was dead on positivity from rope drop to the last night right on Timber 305. And we couldn't have. We're very thankful for Kings Dominion. They did a tremendous job on that Saturday. Everything operated. Nothing was over like 20 minutes of a wait. The operations were incredible. It was a beautiful day outside. It was like 81, 82 degrees outside. It couldn't have asked for a better day. Couldn't ask for a better day. And we're hoping to repeat that experience and do it even bigger next year in Georgia. Next year, we'll see you soon there over Georgia.
Well, that's absolutely amazing. And I'm so happy that the turnout exceeded your expectations and it's continuing to grow, because that's one of the things I've noticed, especially, being in a diverse school where I teach, every day. When I go to enthusiast events, that's one of the things that's really stood out to me is it's mostly white people, almost always white people. So not only have you managed to, build community bring people out of isolation and bring them together. It would be really nice to see some of those enthusiasts at our events as well and have a more diverse culture at the enthusiast events. I think that would just be an incredible thing and be an even more opportunity to bring people together.
Yeah, I'm I'm not even like a real sentimental person, but I can tell you this, like it's that was as close as I've probably ever been to like being that way. And it was just like there was moments where I just kind of just stood back and was just looking around and just saying, man, this is incredible. It's like I didn't even for me being humbled as I was very humbled by the fact that there's we got guys flying in from California, guys flying in from Texas and Florida and like Ohio and Michigan. I'm like, these guys came out of their way, and some people had to like take multiple flights in a few days to get there. To troubles get there, and it all worked out. And it's very humbling, man, to know that some people, I guess they see it as, okay, well, there's this guy Mike in the community, and I'm like, I'm nobody. Like, and I still feel that way. Like, no one's gonna change my mind there. But I'm just a normal guy that just goes to parks. But if I could take the platform and that we have that's available for it and open the door for future Black enthusiasts, or even like any minority, man, Hispanic, like any minority, women, like all of them, right? Like that's positive for me, because like I feel like this community is growing and it's getting bigger and better. And there are people out here that want to say, the toxicity, because a person may be toxic, but as I always say, like one person doesn't speak for the majority. And they're the outlier. They're not the example. They're the outlier. And so if one person's being toxic, that's an isolated situation. So like even though they're saying, so when someone says, I think the coach community is toxic, I'm like, well, I'm part of the coach community. Man, I don't think I'm toxic. If I am, someone let me know. But if you're saying, hey, this person over here is doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, and that's guess what? That's how the world is. It doesn't matter if it's coach community, your job, or school, or whatever. Like there's always going to be somebody that's usually not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So you can't always like tie the friction to that. This community is amazing, so. So just being able to just kind of see there's a lot of diversity out here and just kind of going on. Maybe it's my mark, and maybe that's what what I'm going to leave behind, and I hope to continue to grow on there. But I'm looking forward to that event now. So now I've got 2 events a year that I look forward to now: Hollywood Nights and the Black Coach and Business Meetup. And I'm glad that we're going to have this opportunity to really grow this thing to be something really, really big and special. And those guys that are listening here as part of the community, hey, we're going to be out there over Georgia, June 23rd and the 25th. So take your vacations, plan it, book your flights. We're giving you the heads up, and it won't be on Father's Day weekend, so you can hang out with your kids this year. And we're sorry for any dads that they get the chance to see their their kids, or any sons that couldn't hang out with their fathers because Airtime Myke didn't think about that it's the fact it's the same weekend as Father's Day. So my apologies for that.
Well, positivity is a contagious thing. Thank you so much for bringing this whole new element and era to the coaster community. And I look forward to seeing just how much it grows next year and beyond, because I think it's only going to continue to grow and get bigger from here.
Yeah. Shout out to my man Prime Rides, also, man. Like he's doing a really good job with one of those groups out there, the Melon Beach group. So like Prime Ride, he's an awesome guy. Nice positivity, taking these Black groups, and like they just went to Cedar Point recently as well. So like I don't have a Facebook, but like he's been trying to get me to join. I might have to. I'll have to create a Facebook and do something like that. But like he's doing a great job out there, like more so than I'm doing. He's trying to get it sanctioned and set up and everything. So like shout out to that guy for doing all the work that he's doing.
He go by Prime Jr.
Is that yes?
I know who he is.
Yes, he's doing.
I'm friends with him on Facebook and through Instagram. He seems to be awesome. He's someone I would love to meet up with at some point.
I've never met him in person. Looking forward to meeting him. But I'll definitely see him next year, because he's coming next year. But man, like he's doing a wonderful job out there. And and I just want to make sure that everybody stay positive and just keep having fun with it.
Mhm.
And even yourself, it's just like Kim, like you don't understand like your impact as far as like women goes. Like taking that picture in front of with you, Casey. I forget and I apologize. I don't know the young lady's name. I'm so bad with names. That was
Tiff.
also in a Tiff. Okay, hey Tiff.
Yep.
And but like seeing you guys that had your voice tattoos, oh my God, that was incredible. It's like you three women. I'm like, I challenge any to go find any three men that got tattoos of voice on themselves. Like really, but it's just the women in the community, man. Like I can't tell you like how important that is. Because my first Hollywood nights, there might have been like 2 or 3 women there, and then it's like it grows more, and then it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and so. That opens the door for women, which is going to open additional doors. We got Leah being one of the women at least the holiday world. So it's like, more Black people, more women, more. It's just growth, growth in the community where it doesn't come across as all similar faces. We talked earlier about everything being the same, but like diversity and growth ignites a fire, and the fire keeps growing, man. And I'm just gonna be burning with joy. I'm just excited.
Good. Now I know earlier you were talking about your contribution to the YouTube channel and community, and you really emphasized the importance of being yourself. Is there any other advice you would like to give to those who are listening?
Oh man, this is yeah, I can get some advice out there. Here's my advice. Is and it's kind of, I don't know how people are gonna accept this, but my advice is this: go out there and have fun, and don't just go out there and have fun and do you, don't complain, and stop making excuses. My advice to people is don't make excuses. Right? There's so many things in when people say, hey, I can, or I won't, or I will, or come, and they procrastinate and they put off, you're missing out. So like people are missing out. You never know, one of the best things I've heard was there's never a second chance to make a first impression. Right. So I would say the first time you see someone, be polite. You go into a park, enjoy yourself. If you're one of these people here that say, hey, I'm going to go to a park and I'm not going to ride a specific ride, I'm going to catch a milestone. I'm like, listen, go get it while you can. I'm not really a milestone guy, but I understand it. But like I was like, don't miss out on an experience to satisfy specific criteria. Like just go out there, be you, be yourself. Get out here and just be honest. Be opinionated, and don't be scared to just share how you feel, and just be positive all the time. I like that's what I do. I don't care what anyone thinks about me. If someone could hate me, someone could love me, I'm going to treat you exactly the same. So if who's ever listening is like, I can't stand the Airtime Myke things, or I don't like him because he doesn't do free spins, or you can hate me because I'm a Black dude doing Black ones, you know what? All love to you, all love to you. That means you're probably looking at me and you're probably envious of something that I'm doing that you probably can't do or won't do, So I appreciate kind of like the hate, but it's not going to change me from stop doing what I'm going to do. We had a wonderful conversation prior to this from you and David, and we were talking about how you can't live in fear, and like you can't stop things from stopping you from doing what you want to do. And I've always been like that. Like I've never ever catered or compromised for the status quo. I'm gonna just do it. COVID's out here, great. Guess what? Like we're gonna have to adjust to live with it. If there's any other ailments out here, any other diseases out here, or whatever's going on in the world, you just have to adjust. Secluding, cutting yourself off here, and then just not being able to come across and conquer that is not going to do anything for you. You're going to remain the same. It's going to continue and make you worse and just keep bringing you down. Go out there and experience life. Do what Kim is doing, like you're doing, Kim. Travel, go out there, experience life. There's so much out here, because one single moment in life may be that moment that changes you forever, which is what this whole podcast is dedicated on. So go out there, experience something new, and then see what it brings into your life. That's probably my final words on it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's a hashtag I put too on a lot of my fitness posts is hashtag no excuses or hashtag destroy excuses. Anybody that knows me knows I pretty much live by the motto, you can find excuses to fail or ways to succeed. You've got one or two choices here. The choice is completely yours in all situations. And you're talking about living, I've had lots of questions. Talking about what people think. You like my tattoos. Other people will say, what are you going to do when you're 80 years old? Your skin's sagging. I said, you know what? These are going to be proof that I lived. And I lived well. I lived the way I wanted to. And I love life. That's kind of what I stand for. So
yeah, I mean, like 100%. Because what are you getting mad about someone else's tattoos? But what
exactly.
they do? These are the things that represent you, and as far as like what your personal growth is, and then also what it also I life changing that has saved your life. So
this is what brought me back from. Brina literally brought me back to life from a 5-year depression.
The darkness. And guess what? It's a constant reminder because like when you go to sleep, Kim, and you wake up and then like you look at your arm and you see something like Fury and Voyage and Gwazi and all these things, like, you know what? Like for you, it could be motivation every single day. It's like, you know what?
It is.
Because like this right here, like that's on my arm here, that I see every day, I'm reminded of that these things are out here and that these things make me happy. I got tattoos also, so it's just like, so, and I'm actually trying to get a Voyage tattoo. Like I've been me being an artist, I've already designed it and everything, but hopefully Casey will go ahead and draw it on me, or tattoo it on me one day. Cause she's a tattoo artist also. So tattoo, but yeah, like I actually know about the nose thing. That's pretty amazing. But yeah, like I can't imagine like what I would have done if I would have quit, or I would have fallen victim to the people that put the pressure on me in my inboxes or phone calls, like don't do this event or we'll come do this and threaten me. I'm like, you know what? I would have missed out. I would have missed out on meeting some great men that I've never seen before in my life, or made the impact for them and spread their seeds as far as to say, hey, guess what this community can do, or that one event might have been the ignition that said, hey, I don't know, because like there's so many situations out here in this world. I don't know if that was somebody's last dollar to go to King's Domain, but they came out there and experienced it. Maybe it motivated them to say, you know what, there's more to live for, because I got to meet all these wonderful enthusiasts who are just like me. And so, yeah, like just live life, like just live life, go out there and live, enjoy, not even forget, more than just living, enjoy life. Yeah. Tomorrow's not promised, like, so just go out there and if you can do, like that's what I say, if you can do.
And it's, it's like you said, it does affect the day to day. I'm a better parent. I'm in my 24th year of teaching, where a lot of teachers are burnt out, kind of the days to retirement. Just this week, I've taught the best art project I've ever done, like my honest lesson. I've gotten the best work out of my 4th and 5th graders I've ever gotten. I'm fresh. My mind is clear. I have energy. I want to go to work, and I'm the teacher that they need me to be. I'm happy. I'm enjoying life. I have my stress under control. I'm having fun. And it, like you said, it really does reach out pretty much all day, every day, everywhere I go, regardless of where I'm at, and when I think about like my next coaster trip, we've got a fall break coming up, that keeps me motivated through, each little stretch, even on the hard days. I can do this. I can keep that smile on my face, and every day's a new day. So if something doesn't go so well the day before, you have the next day to start over and try again. Okay.
You're right. I can't believe that, like, teaching is a hard job. That's
Yep. And you've got to have that. You have to have that reset. I call it reset your shine. reset the shine in your mind mode. Each day you start over, and you got to pass that on to the kids too, because you don't want a kid that messed up the day before to feel like you think they're bad, and they're just a bad kid. And then they just come in every day and they think that's what you expect, because if that's what you expect, that's what you're going to get. Okay. Our last question is, where can we find you on social media for people that would like to learn more about Airtime Myke?
Oh, this is very easy. I only have one social media. So I'm sorry, y'all. No TikTok, no Twitter, no Facebook. You can catch me on Instagram at Airtime _Myke. That's MYKE. But Airtime, AI, like you can spell Airtime. But Airtime _Myke. I'm on Instagram. And so I'm easy to find. There's a picture of my face up there in the stream, and easy to locate and share. So, and real quick, let me say this real quick. For those people up there that I've seen or met, and you wonder why I don't know who you are, a lot of you have like social media things, and you don't have pictures of you. It's just a picture of coasters and more stuff, but I don't know what you look like. So when you guys approach me, I'm so and so. I'm like, I don't know, because I don't know what you look like. So that's another piece of advice. Make yourself visible. So that we can see who you are. It's easy to identify with people, man, if you know what they look like and how they sound. So I would say that's another piece of advice too. Please be visible. But I would love to I wish more people had. I'm like, I'm so and so. I'm like, no, I'm not familiar. Oh yeah, follow you. I'm the person with the red hat. I'm sorry. I'm the person with the red coaster that has that's sitting on top of a bedroom. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. You don't have to have a picture of you in a profile, but you might want to have a picture of you somewhere. So that way we know what you look like, because there's so many accounts out here. But Instagram. Sorry, that's a long answer, but yeah, Instagram is the only way you're gonna find me. Airtime _Myke, and then you can also catch me on YouTube at Toro Ryan. Come like, comment, subscribe. That's EL Toro, then the name Ryan, RYAN, all together. Toro Ryan.
Yeah, quick story. Same thing happened to me. I was in New Jersey. It was nighttime. We were in line for Candy Call, and there's this person in line behind me saying, "Coaster Mom, Coaster Mom." And I turned around and I looked. I was just like, "Are you Coaster Mom?" I said, "As a matter of fact, I am." They started introducing themselves. They're like, "Oh, you know who I am?" They named their Instagram account, and I'd never seen this person before in my life. I'm like, "You have to know who I am. I've always wanted to meet you." And all of this, they knew, they had their heart set. They want to take a picture with me and everything. And my son's standing there looking at me like, "Is this actually happening?" I'm like, "Yep, it's happened a few times." But I did not know how to tell this person. I didn't know their name. And I finally saw, I said, "I'm sorry, no, I don't know who you are." And they didn't seem very happy about that, but it was like just what you said. I'd never seen their face. I think I'd seen some pictures or something, but I had no idea. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time tonight to talk to me. I very much enjoyed our conversation, learning more about you. And I wish it could go on longer, but we all have to get to bed.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, Dave is probably like, "Man, this podcast is like 3 hours long." But he's gonna do a lot of cutting, which is fun. But no, thank you guys for inviting me on.
Yes, and thank you.
I just love meeting and talking to people, and as you can see, I can get very talkative. But no, I appreciate what you guys are doing. I've listened to everything. I've listened to a lot of your podcasts to show that I got a job where I can actually listen to podcasts and stuff frequently. So it's good stuff you guys are putting out. Keep it up, man. That's actually like what I want to do in this community. But I love what you guys are doing. Like, you're connecting with so many people, and it just grows the product and his brand of what's called coach community. So, you guys had your own stories, which were amazing, so amazing and satisfying. And who knows, like what this will be, these podcasts will do for somebody out there who needs to hear this, and it's going to change and influence their life. So keep it up and keep working hard on what you guys are doing.
Well, thank you so much.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want to see more of us, we upload every Friday. And check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all at Coaster Challenge. Links are in the description below. Thanks for joining us here today.